Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Seven Skies Spelios here on the Dan's Tunes website. Today we have a special interview. The band Stereo Creeps. This is Sean Moe. Sean, what do you do?
I sing in the band and play a little guitar too. I'm not the lead guitar player. I'm the secondary guitar player, but I use it as a songwriting tool mostly. But yeah.
How many people do you have in your group, and what do they all do?
I got 4 people. Myself, of course. Robert Dollison on lead guitar. Mark Wardell on bass, and Kai Stranskov on drums.
Nice. So when it comes to the songwriting process, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's an interesting process with us. We do it all different ways. So I write a lot of songs myself. Robert writes a lot of songs himself. At home, he'll write songs. I'll write songs here. We also get together a lot and combine. We work on the songs together a lot of, especially as we're working them out. But we oftentimes kind of crossbreed our songs too, because he'll go, "Hey, that thing there would go really good with this." And so we cannibalize our songs a lot. So I might have a song that started out like this, and then, this is all that gets used.
Right.
And same with him, and then we somehow are able to do that pretty easily. It's kind of really it's symbiotic in a way, because
it's a good sign.
It shouldn't work as well as it does, but that's a large portion of the stuff that we write. It happens that way, However, the new album that we did, Suck, Robert wrote 11 of the 13 tracks. Wow. He was just on a roll.
Nice.
And I even cut 2 of my songs out because I just realized his were better.
Wow.
I was just like, well, yeah, we'll just screw that one. We'll do that later. I think a couple of them just ended up dying on the vine, but we try to stay open-minded to what's the best material, regardless of who wrote it. The previous album, I wrote most of that one. And then now with the new lineup of the band, we try to incorporate everybody in it more as well. Robert and I usually start with the original ideas, musical concepts. We kind of get it ironed out a little bit, and then we throw the rhythm section into the mix, and those guys are so good, they're on it. But we try to do most of the heavy lifting ahead of time, kind of, so it's we've got it pretty arranged.
Yeah. And
kind of know basically what we want to do. And if we have a struggle on a spot, we just simply ask the other guys, what do we need here? Try to get them more involved. And we've written a few lately that are more just full band stuff too. We're not much of jam writers, jamming and then turns into something. However, with the new lineup, we got a really good chemistry right now. So there are times where we're just jamming on something, and I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of good. And I'll run over. I have a little 4-track recorder, little digital recorder. It's kind of like the old 4-track cassette style, but they just made a digital version of it. And so I have that ready to go at any time. And I'm like, I'm going to record some of this because this might be pretty good. And then we go back through it later and see hey, this is I think we got something here. So we kind of write songs in all different ways. We don't have a strict way that we do it. It's all different ways. We do cannibalize our stuff a lot too, where we listen to something, we go, I really love that part, but that other part, it's all right. So we're like, well, let's just work on that part, and then we'll go, wait a minute, that could go with that thing. So we do that a lot.
Mixing and matching, Frankensteining.
A lot of Frankenstein. If you listen to our stuff, you can almost, now that I've told you this, you'll probably hear that in it, because you'll go, how did it go? How did the song go from here to there? And that's probably why.
Right.
Yeah.
So the synergy between the band members sounds astounding. It sounds like, have you guys known each other for a long time? Friends before the band?
Yeah. So Robert and I have been in bands together for many, many years. I'll just say many, many years. The first punk band I was ever in, he was in with me many moons ago. And he actually lived in Eastern Washington for quite a few years, 12 years or something like that. We lost touch a little bit, but then then I don't know what happened. Or he got a job over here,
Mm-hmm.
and he's moving back over. I'm like, well, that's really cool. We had a guitar player at the time, but wasn't working out too great. And I kept saying, why don't you kind of come back over? Because the drummer we had at the time, who was also in the old punk band we were in together, he was like, God, that'd be great if we get Robert back in the band. I go, I know, right? Wouldn't that be great? I go, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a thing. And I got a hold of Robert, and he's like, yeah, I don't really play guitar much anymore. I'm kind of over it. I'm not. He just
Really?
kinda, yeah, he just kind of lost his luster with guitar. I think he was tired of like standard tuning stuff and whatever. But he's like, oh, you know. And then I kept getting on his ass. I kept saying, come on, just do it. Just play a little. And we got rid of the other guitar player just out of necessity. And I just kind of begged him. I said, come on, let's help. I go, just help us get this album done. We were working on this album at the time called Cave Dwellers of Tomorrow. And the original guitar player had put a bunch of guitar playing, his tracking on there. And it was a little much for what I was kind of visualizing in the music. I thought it was a little overdone in some spots. But Robert learned it all to help us, because we had a show or two lined up, and so he learned all this stuff. He ended up getting back into guitar, obviously, and then when we were in the studio, we'd basically taken out the other guitar player's stuff. We just stripped it.
Wow.
Even though we were almost done with the album. And the guy that we work with, Don Farwell at Earwig Studio, said, hey, you know what? He goes, do this. He goes, forget what you learned and just go home with these tracks without the other guy's guitar stuff. So it'll have everything else, vocal, everything. It had everything pretty much, right? Except for maybe last minute whatevers,
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, just write your own thing to it. So he had to somehow mentally go, oh God, I just learned how to play all that stuff.
Right.
And now I got to forget it. Okay, I don't know it's there, and now I'm going to write something to this.
What a challenge.
Yeah, and he did an awesome job. And what happened is he simplified it. He made it heavier, more droney and big. And it kind of created the sound that we became. And we've just built off of that year after year. We did after we did Cave Dwellers of Tomorrow, we did a EP called Cassette. And it was on a cassette. And we actually, when we released it, it only came out on cassette. And we were even being tricky about it, coy. And we didn't release any download card or anything.
Oh
so
my
we were just
gosh.
making it like, hey, if you want to listen to it, you better have a cassette player. And we eventually released it on Bandcamp and stuff. And when we released it on Bandcamp, it was released as one track. So you had to, rewind and fast forward.
Oh, right.
It's digital, but
that's a cool effect.
That's the idea, because all the songs they morph into the next song. It's kind of so
cool. So it's very cassette-like.
It is. So we wanted to kind of keep that vibe going.
So what is the band's philosophy and take on music, your music? Why music?
God, I ask myself all the time, why do I do this? Why do I put myself through this? So, it's really weird. We keep doing this because it's like this compulsion thing. It's like, we always think that, God, I think we just wrote the best song we ever wrote, right? And then, but it's like, once you think that, when it's fresh and new and it's exciting, and then you're just like, God, I can't wait to get to the studio and record that thing. It's going to be nuts, right? And then we record it, and then we love it. And then we listen to it a bunch, and then it finally comes out, and then we're so tired of it by the time it's new to everybody else. Like this new album we did, Suck. I've been listening to this stuff and dealing with these songs for maybe 2.5, 3 years at this point. So even though it's a new album, we are just like, ugh. And we've got so many songs just sitting there, all these new ones that we want to really work on. And so it's it's just one of those things. It's like mind over matter. It's like we have to keep on these songs from the album, especially with it coming out, right? You kind of have to stay. But we're also we're gonna throw in we're gonna throw in 3 or 4 brand new ones into our set list too, just because we like to always keep things going. But I think we're always trying to chase the dragon, if you will, on we can do a better song. We can do a better one, Like we keep thinking we're going to write the greatest song of all time. I guess that's kind of our thing. So I mean, that might be a bit much to say, but in our minds, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to always push ourselves to better songwriting, better arrangements, better performance, everything. So I think that's it. It's a compulsion. It's like we just can't stop.
Yeah.
After this last album, it was such a it was just a big undertaking for us. We did once we decided on the 13, which is a big number, but at the same time, a couple of the songs are really short. A few of them are. In fact, a lot of our stuff is pretty short, but they tie together and stuff. So, but 13 tracks at like 30, I don't know, was it 34 minutes? So it's not very, it's kind of average album length or whatever. But once we got that figured out, like this is the album, we realized these are the ones that will make the album. I started like sequencing the album while we were playing the songs. So we started sequencing the songs in a way really early to kind of have the right segues and all the stuff. It's almost like chess, like thinking ahead of. Because I know a lot of bands, it's not to slight anybody, but you can't think of everything all the time. So you get a group of songs, right? So you have 20 songs and you whittle that down to 10, right? And then they go, okay, I got my 10 songs, we recorded them, and the last thing they think about is sequencing. And I think sequencing is super important because, I mean, look, people don't really, full albums now aren't really the hot thing. It's singles and EPs and stuff. But I'm old school, man. I still like an album. I really do. I mean, look at all these albums, right?
Yeah.
So I like that process of just a good solid side A and a good solid side B. I don't like filler. I don't like throwaway tracks. I don't like any of that. I want it to sound like a fun time, When we made the new album, side 1 is kind of considered the party side. That's the fun stuff. Like you put on, having a party, you throw on side 1 and you have a beer and you rock out. Nice. Side 2's the hangover. So it's kind of the dark, dreary of what happens from having too much fun in a way.
That's a great way that the music can progress. That's a great narrative to follow.
It is, and I even had the guy that does our mastering, and he does he cuts lacquers and stuff too for the vinyl. Levi Seitz black belt mastering. I had him etch on the dead wax, which is the little portion close to the middle. Or I don't know if you've ever seen there's little scribes in there. Sometimes you'll see that they have to mark it for you have to mark whatever your record is. Ours is Deep Skull Record 005's DSR 005, and then dash A and dash B, and that'll tell you A and B. That's for the record plant, so they know what side's A and B. And then he goes, you want me to do any other little notes in there, little hidden messages? And I go, yeah. Side A, write the party, and on side B, write the hangover. And he did that. So that's it's like, nice. I don't know if anybody will ever notice it, but it had to be done.
So we've been talking a bit about vinyls, and so sounds like Stereo Creeps has a vinyl coming out. What does that look like?
It's funny you'd ask. I happen to have one right here. I just got them recently, and this is it right here. Stereo Creeps suck. And this is the back of it. And inside of this, we put it on this really cool translucent blue marble.
That is nice.
Vinyl. It's really cool. And then just like old albums, I wanted to put a few fun things in it. So you get a sticker, die cut sticker. It kind of looks like the center of the album. Okay. And then it's got a lyric sheet, like old school albums have, lyric sheet and credits and who played what and guest stars and Perfect. Blah, blah, blah. Thank yous. And I know people like that, so I put out things before where I haven't done it, but then I know people always want to know anyway. And then there's also this, by the way, this little create your own mask and the world's largest download code.
How does Stereo Creeps, how do they define their genre?
That's tough because we kind of don't fit in that much with most of the... I mean, we play with a lot of bands. We got a lot of great friends bands. I guess we're heavier rock. I'll just say heavier rock music. Let's just do that and not try to get it too subgenred out,
Right.
whatever. But we don't really fit in with like the doom crowd, but we have elements of doom in our music. We don't really fit in with punk bands, but we have elements of punk. And classic rock, and we have a little of everything. We kind of try to mold in all the things that we like about rock music that we've all grown up with, and we kind of just put it all together in a blender and just let it be its thing. And what's cool is it's through time, it's we have kind of a sound now. I don't know how, just by, I guess, from repetition.
Yeah.
And everybody has a style. It's just turned into we kind of have a sound now.
Yeah. What can people expect when they want to come to a Stereo Creeps concert?
Well, they can expect to have fun, I hope.
Well,
I mean,
great.
really, because fun is the thing, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of fun. I like to, I like to talk with the crowd a little bit and get peppy with them. We try. We get loud. We get fun. We try to rock out, and then hopefully, more than all of that, we try to have really good songs, the best songs we can have. So hopefully, if nothing else, the music stands up, because I've seen bands that are like really killer shows, and it's like, well, this is fun and all that, and then you get their CD, and it's like it's not really that listenable. You know what I mean? Like, it's more, you need the visual to go with it.
Yeah.
And then
it's kind of a package deal.
Kind of a package deal. Like, it's weird because it's like, it's fun while you're there because you're enjoying all the stuff happening. And then when you want to just get in your car on a nice day and put in the CD, you're kind of underwhelmed because musically it's not maybe holding up, I've had some situations like that. Or there's bands that record stuff that's super great to listen to, right? And you go see their show, and maybe their show's not that exciting, or like they don't, maybe live wise it's not.
So you try to balance.
I try to balance it, yeah. So we some people might think we overdo it a little bit in the studio. I don't think we do. But we also aren't tied to, we have to sound exactly like our record. We're not tied to that. We're kind of like, we want our record to sound how we think it should sound as the ultimate version of the song that we have in our heads. That's what we want our record to be. Live, we're going to be kind of a little more of a raw band for the live things.
Feel it out a little bit.
Yeah, to let it just have a different vibe a little bit. But they come together pretty good. I don't think you miss a lot between them. I just think when you see us live, it might be like, holy shit, these guys are kind of nuts, Yeah. But like, you listen to it and it's maybe not that nuts to listen to. It's kind of like, it's a pretty good song. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't know I'm not sure what people think of us in a way. I kind of don't care, because I think it's best just to do whatever you do and not worry about all that. You're going to sound like you sound. And if you start trying to change your sound for reasons that you're worried about because other people, then you lost. You lost the game already, because now you're trying to do something that maybe isn't what you need to do. Just do what you do.
Well, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks. I appreciate it, man.
As you heard it here, folks, be sure to check out Stereo Creeps live in concert April 12th.
April 12th. Pick this up.